Very good. Welcome to the Forge and Shield podcast, where we talk about faith, work, responsibility, and manhood, all to the glory of Christ. I'm B.D. Fleming,
And I'm Victor Oquendo.
and today we're going to talk about why so many men feel restless or stuck in their lives. All right, see, I changed that before we were doing the first one. We gotta go back.
So, take two.
Take two versions because all right, so we'll go back
I don't know if I said my last name.
to the you
So,
good.
Oquendo.
Okay, let's do take four.
Yeah. It's the sword and steel.
I had it written down.
I think it's four.
Are there?
Yeah, yeah.
Does it say who's on?
Let me see. Yeah, my wife's on there. Sam.
Yeah. Hey, Sam.
Those should be two. So, there's four people now.
It's probably two.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, Darla on their account.
Darling, because she's so sweet. So it is.
Four of them are
The Oquendo family watching. All right. So that's it. So what's the first step again? Today. All right. Let's do that. Should be. I'm not going to live on
I mean, every time I do it, it's like trying to look at
Yeah, now I've got the right one there. All right, let's try again. Ready?
Yep.
Welcome to the Forge and Shield podcast, where we talk about faith, work, responsibility, and manhood, all to the glory of Christ. I'm B.D. Fleming,
And I'm Victor Oquendo.
and today we're going to talk about why this podcast exists. But first, Victor, how are you?
I'm doing great. Hi.
This is,
What's that?
yeah, I was going to say, this is only like our third attempt at this tonight, so we're still fresh.
Yeah.
But, so, Forge and Shield podcast, brand new podcast. We'll talk about why it exists, and we'll talk about where we're going with it. But first, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so small town man, right? So got born and raised in North Central Florida. Got a beautiful family, house full of vegetables, wife and two beautiful daughters. I'm a local businessman. I own and operate an HVAC company right here out of Ocala, Florida. And yeah, like to do the outdoor things, so fishing, hunting, anything outdoors, boating. That's my hobby. So yeah, Christian man, local businessman, family man, great outdoor.
There you go. I like it. But I'm B.D. Fleming. Also have a ton of estrogen in my house. Got a wife and two daughters as well. Mine are a few years younger than yours. But I'm sure they're right on the cusp of making some serious contact. But anyway, I am a small business owner as well, very micro business compared to Mr. Big Business here. But I own the Old Forest Press, and it is a small Christian publishing house, and I'm an author and write mostly what I call tactical theology, which is theology that is applicable to our daily lives. But I also write, books, fiction books as well, and but all of that writing is meant to be able to help men and households grow in their love and their convictions about Christ. So, um, originally from East Tennessee, moved down to Florida, the free state of Florida during COVID. I think we all understand why. And so this podcast exists because Victor and I go to church together. I'm an elder at Grace Point Church in Somerville, Florida, and Vic is one of our best churchmen, hopefully soon to be deacon and men's leader as well. And so, we have had a lot of conversations just over a cigar like we're doing right now, and we recognize that most good podcasts exist because it's an extension of conversations that have been ongoing. And so that's what this is. This is a podcast that is for Christian men who are trying to live an ordinarily faithful life every day. So we're going to talk about a lot of great things. We'll jump into the episode here in just a second. Unless there's anything else that you want to say about why podcasts exist.
No, I mean, I think you hit it right on the note. Christian leadership, theology based, more so meetings.
Yeah, that's my
I don't think anybody can really argue with that other than
Yeah, okay. Well, so here's what we recognize. We recognize that most podcasts that are Christian podcasts are very theology heavy. I'm down for that, but there's time and place for that. Most blue collar guys like ourselves are maybe have 20 minutes to listen to a podcast here or there, and ultimately they want to hear some practicality, right? They want to hear how they can lead their families better, how they can run their business to the glory of God, how they can do their work with integrity, or how they can raise their kids, right? Like we're talking about all the time. How they can be physically and mentally and spiritually strong, and ultimately how they can make sure that they don't drift away from their core mission, which is to build and protect their family. So that's what this podcast is all about. We're going to talk about a bunch of different topics. We'll talk theology, we'll talk culture, but we're also going to talk hunting. We're going to talk firearms, fishing. We're going to talk about standing on business.
Standing on business.
Right. So let's talk about what the name means, right? So if you were paying attention at all, I said I own a small publishing business called the Old Forest Press.
I did give a name. So my HVAC company's name is Iron Shield Heating.
You didn't cut me off. We were going there anyway, so you're good. So I own the Old Forest Press. Vic owns Iron Shield Heating Air. And so what we did is we took Ford and Shield, threw them together, and I thought it made good sense because to me, here's what the Ford represents: formation, discipline, and shaping men through truth and experience.
Yeah, so the shield to me represents protection, responsibility, leadership, and providing for a household.
Yeah. So building and protecting is what we're all about. So the vision for this show, I'm going to be totally frank at the very beginning. This is not going to be an hour-long podcast episode. We are going to keep things really short. This is meant for the guy who is leaving the job site and is on his way home. He might have 20 minutes, right? And so we want to give them something quick, something applicable, that adds value to their life. So we're going to talk work, we're going to talk marriage, fatherhood. What else are we going to talk?
Yeah, so money,
Stewarding, right?
Just stewarding. Yeah. Stewarding, recreation, strength, responsibility, skills. In other words, all of life belongs to Christ.
No, it's all good. You said recreation.
Hey, cut.
That's all right. Let's go back. We'll just go back to 2 steps. It's all good. With power of editing.
Right.
All right. So we believe that Christ is Lord overall, and that unfortunately, a lot of people have fallen for the trap that says that your faith must be compartmental. We don't believe that. Like I said, we believe Christ is Lord overall. So in this podcast, we're going to talk work, we're going to talk marriage and fatherhood, we're going to talk money. What else are we going to talk about?
Strength, responsibility, skills, stewardship of the world, and recreation. All kinds.
So in other words, we believe that all of life is to Christ, and all of our duties will be held accountable to Christ. So, we'll talk strength and discipline, raising kids, all those things, but not in a segmented way. Okay. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about how faith intersects with daily life. So this is for men who work hard, who carry tons of responsibility, and who ultimately. So this show is for men who work hard, they carry responsibility, they want to honor Christ with their life and their work. And so really, if I summed it up, I'd say it's for builders and protectors. Do you agree?
Yeah, and people who like
Okay. Right. So again, this is not a highbrow podcast. We're going to keep it really simple. We're not going to make you sit through hour-long episodes. And so what we want to leave, the closing thought I want to leave you with in this initial just 10-minute episode is that Christian men are called to something different than shrinking back or apologizing or disengaging. We are called to build the culture for Christ. So this is for men who are going to build, who are going to protect, who are going to lead. We want to encourage our followers to live faithfully under Christ every single day. So that's what Forge and Shield is about. Yeah. You got any closing thoughts?
Yeah. So, men today, yeah. So,
You can say no if you want.
no. I mean, you do a really good job closing out.
All right. I think let's do it again. You just say no. So.
Say amen.
Yeah. Hey, amen. All right. So stand on business, build well, protect what's yours, lead faithfully, and live all of your life to the glory of Christ. We'll see you next time.
Standing on business. You know, you kind of got to be ready for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the wrong time. And honestly,